The voice of the oracle. Beloved listeners, before we enter this sacred conversation with Suzy, I invite you just to pause for a moment and take a beautiful, deep, slow breath into your body. Let your shoulders soften and let your attention just arrive here. This space today is not about information, it's about soul residence. And today, may we open the sacred field, the sacred space to the voice of the oracle, a conversation on channeling as a sacred art, the redefining of intuitive transmissions, and the power of an embodied voice. May what we share serve you, the listener, with clarity, sovereignty, and remembrance. And may each listener be guided back to their own deep inner knowing. So just take a deep breath in and just coming back to the sacred space together. And welcome, Suzy, to part 2 of our sessions together. Today we're talking the voice of the oracle.
Oh, thank you
Powerful.
so much, my love. I just love doing this with you. We're so in alignment, and I just feel so blessed to know you and to collaborate with you, my darling friend.
Oh, I just know how potent this is going to be for the listeners. And, um, you know, our higher guides have been working their magic on this coming together for quite some time. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
They've been
I love
working
it.
behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the magic behind the scenes. So, Suzy, when you hear the voice of the oracle, what do you feel awakens within you and your mind and your body, not just your mind?
Oh, I love that. When I really kind of merge with the beautiful voice of the oracle, that kind of that beautiful priestess of intuition, and all of the priestesses, that have walked this beautiful earth, for me, it's really about really kind of going within to kind of connect without, if that makes sense. So, really listening to my soul's voice.
Mm,
There's an authenticity there.
mm,
There's a deep remembering, but also just this beautiful kind of universal connection as well too. So I don't think, yeah, connecting with the voice of the oracle is really about merging with my own inner oracle, and of course connecting to all the beautiful oracles that have all over this planet, if that makes sense. So it's a beautiful connection, and it's a beautiful kind of co-creation as well.
oh,
Uh, in my body, really interesting because I really truly believe that our body has its own wisdom, has its own
mm,
beautiful diva. And, often when I teach psychic development, we do a lot of work in regards to physical divination because the goosebumps, the spidey sense, the gut feelings, the raw instinct, the high vibrational kind of messages coming through, it all happens through the body. The
mm,
brain can lie, we can tell ourselves lies. Our heart has incredible wisdom, but the body is an incredible instrument and conduit and channel for the universal voice, but also, yeah, my own inner oracle as well. So, yeah, so listening to the body, I think, gives you really good validation. You know, for me, if it's a yes, my body will kind of, I will lean in. There will be kind of a magnetic pull. And if it's a no, my body will literally throw me back. So
Mm.
listening to the wisdom of the body. And of course, everything's connected, isn't it, Lily? Like everything's connected. You know, it's not like the body's separate to the mind, to the heart. I think it's that beautiful connection between the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the physical. And you can't have that inborn remembering if you're not really tapping in to your own instrument, your own beautiful body. So,
Mm.
yay, love that answer. Thank you, my darling.
Oh, I love that answer, Susie. I love it. And I think it's so important because we've been taught not to connect to our bodies, not to connect to our body,
Yes.
be, the voice of the oracle, the body within. And so I think that that is in itself is a remembering of bringing yourself back
Yeah.
to so you can hear the voice of your oracle. Your physical voice might not be fully attuned, but it's
Yeah.
very much remembering that you're more than what our
Yes.
bodies and our temple, us, as
Yes.
more than what we are.
Yeah. And you talk a lot about reclaiming, which I adore, by the way. And I
Mm,
think reclaiming the body. I know when I first started, like 25, 30 years ago, on this spiritual path, this kind of like, I did a lot of meditation where you actually fly around in the ether
yeah,
and of course, this little dreamy Piscean fish, he loves to swim in that ocean of ether, right? But in saying that, the more work I did over the years, I realized that our body is also an anchor to our Earth Mother. So our body is our aerial. So you can't disconnect from the body. If you want to really refine your soul's voice, you have to connect to the body, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
love it.
itself has just got so much wisdom in it. Your body is the anchor. Mm.
Exactly. And we've got to anchor the light to the earth too.
Yes, we do.
So
And we
there's no
are the
point
light.
like, yeah,
Mm.
there's no point that flying around in the cosmos somewhere. you know. Yeah,
But it is fun every
it
now
is
and
fun.
then.
Yeah,
Mm. So
this little
how did
fairy queen loves a good fly, you know.
yeah. So how did channeling first open for you as a lived practice rather than a spiritual label?
Ah, straight away when you asked that question, I went straight back to the little girl in me, the little
Mm.
girl sitting on the garage roof, connecting to the moon and the stars and the cosmos. And I think channeling for me started um, as a little girl, actually, and of course, in its raw, innocent, pure form. But channeling from more as a priestess, as an adult, I guess. For me, it happened. Yeah, I had, a near-death experience, and I think I really was looking for answers, and I was praying, and I was like, can I really, doing that seeking, that searching, and within that, I started hearing um, yeah, I started really connecting to my higher wisdom and higher streams of consciousness. And um, for me, channeling comes through more as writing because I'm an author, I'm a creative writer. So I absolutely admire you, Lily, because you channel so beautifully through your sound and through your voice. And um, for me, I'm the poet. I'm the writer. And I know you write as well so beautifully. But I just feel like for me, yeah, channeling I think comes in a way that really resonates with your own creative gifts as well. So, whatever feels
Mm.
right and resonant, there's no right or wrong way to channel. Um, but yeah, I feel like, yeah, I had that, dramatic night, dark night of the soul, if you like, but many years ago. But I think it's been a progressive journey. The voice has become clearer. Yeah, really, really beautiful. I hope that answers that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know Because mine was a dark night. I've had dark night of the souls experiences where you think you're having a
Yeah,
breakdown, but you're actually having a breakthrough.
exactly.
Um, at the time when it was happening, Susie, did you find comfort in it, or did it frighten you more?
Oh, really good question. Mainly, I found comfort in it. Um, when I woke up from an operation and I could literally see spirits walking around the hospital, entering my room.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they come to me by invitation only.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular time, um, my family thought I was hallucinating. I knew that I wasn't. I knew that there was, well, there could have been a little bit of that going on. But um, I, it frightened me a little bit at the time because it felt like I wasn't in control of it, you know. But not really. To me, it's been mainly an incredible comfort.
Mm.
It also really helped me on my well-being journey. So it wasn't just a spiritual journey. It was coming home to self, coming home and getting well. I actually truly believe when I connected to spirit, I literally believe it saved my life, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without
And
a
you know
doubt.
what? Interesting as you say that, that was the same with me. I was just recently divorced when I knew I was had a gift, but I just was so
Yeah,
much in denial of it for so many years.
of course. I'm a
As
reluctant
we do.
psychic medium.
Yeah, as we do.
Not anymore, but I was.
Yeah. And I remember I had left my husband at the time. I was praying, and because I was in a really, really dark space, questioning whether I still wanted to be on the planet. And I remember this night um, having an absolute experience like with my nana that I'd never had before. And just the level of love that rose in the room, and knowing that I was going to be okay. And then the next day I left where I was living. So at the time, it's normally when you're at that moment of, you know, what the fuck? I'll just say it,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
the
It's
fuck?
like, yeah,
And it shifts. Yeah. So I can totally resonate. And I know some of our listeners will even probably be at that stage right now.
yeah,
Mm.
exactly. You know, at the time too, like it felt like everything was crumbling around me, like
Mm-hmm.
relationships, my health. I was working crazy hours. I was exhausted. I had blood clots. They were telling me that I'd need to be on, blood thinning medication for the rest of my life. Well, that wasn't going to happen. I was on it for about 12 months.
Mm.
Um, but in saying that, the crumble really was the rebuild. And that moment of fear that I had in the hospital became a turning point of actual faith.
Yeah.
Um, like, like, and it put me on the most amazing journey. So the crumble was actually the rebuild. If you
Mm-hmm.
think about the tower in the tarot crumbling, it's often because you do need to rebuild your life. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was an amazing wake up call. And that's all a dark night of the soul is.
Yeah.
It's often a wake up call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful for that period of my life. I had so many things just falling apart, but actually they weren't falling apart, they were falling back together, but I didn't realize that at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's often the case
Yeah.
for so many of us. We think we're losing it, but actually everything happens for a reason, and you might not see the reason at the time.
Yeah.
But spirit always has a higher agenda for us, or putting
Yes.
us onto our
Always.
highest timeline. But at the time, it's
Yes.
so uncomfortable because it's outside your comfort zone.
Yes,
Mm.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Um,
love that.
yeah.
Um, so what does it mean to you to treat channeling as a sacred art, not a performance or an
Yes.
identity?
What does it mean? It means to really speak from my soul's voice, from my heart, in a way that is uplifting, healing. um, it's supportive, it's guiding others. It's not, I'm not really into the guru complex, so it's not like I have all the answers, right? But I just feel from a very humble place within me that it's about um, guiding others, but also guiding myself
Mm.
as well. I think that's important too. It's a personal and a collective journey. It's not like, and of course they're connected. But yeah, I just feel like for me, it sounds corny, but it's so true. The cliche is true for me that, it is a higher calling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also, as I'm growing into that beautiful crone, embracing my crown of wisdom even more and more, I think you're quite right, Lily. We spoke in the last beautiful session about, just living an authentic and true life and connecting back to our beautiful Earth Mother and just really being so grateful for simple abundance. And it's so true. The best things in life come for free. And yeah, for me, it's the quiet moments too. It's not just the showing up and holding space for a beautiful group of women or a program or whatever. For me, it's also, in the quiet moments with my grandsons or with my
Mm-hmm.
sausage dog or out in the garden. I've got 3.5 acres of trees here. So, feeding my birds, whatever it is, I think it's listening to um, that beautiful wisdom in the stillness, in the silence that can only happen when you're alone or when you're kind of, yeah, getting really super still and super, super present. Love that question. Thank you.
Yeah, I mirror exactly what you're saying. I resonate so totally with what you're saying because it's very similar for me too.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What are the most common distortions that you see? This will be interesting.
Here we go. Let's dive deep. Yeah.
Around channeling, and
Yeah.
what actually around channeling, and what do you think creates integrity and safety in this work?
Oh, well, I think for the first thing to do is to make sure that you're creating a safe, confidential, loving, beautiful container and space for
Mm-hmm.
people to receive the channeling. I think that's important. So, as a channeler, I think it's important to um, create a beautiful sacred space for people to surrender and relax and receive within it. Um, I think, intention is key. So if your intention is to connect to um, high vibrational beings, you're connecting through love, um, you're connecting through beautiful intention. I don't think there's anything to be fearful of when you channel, actually.
No, neither
Like
do I.
I'm a medium, so channeling departed loved ones, you're connecting through the love portal. Um, yeah, I think it's important to be in the vibration of love, not the vibration of fear. I think that's really important too. But intention and focus and deliberate conscious connection to higher streams of consciousness, love consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I think, yeah, I think it's important to trust in your own intuition when you're listening or connecting or receiving information through a channel, as in an oracle or, a psychic, if you like, um, and to really have that discernment yourself too. Um, I think the messages do need to come with a responsibility. I think there does need to be a message that is going to heal, not hurt. Um, but to be honest, I know so many incredible channels, and everyone I know channels from love, from higher streams of consciousness, from the heart, with good intention. So there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing to be fearful of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you do get that icky feeling, that like that real icky feeling, I want you to trust in your own intuition and just say, this doesn't resonate with me.
Mm-hmm.
You do have the gift of free will. You don't have to absorb anything. You can just observe as well. So sitting in the observer, and just taking on what resonates and leaving the rest. And sometimes what doesn't resonate doesn't mean it's bad. It just
No.
means it's not for you. It just means it
Mm.
doesn't resonate with you either. So remembering that you have sovereignty, that you're a discerning being, that you get to decide what you take on and what you don't take on. I think it's really important that you realize that, even psychic channeling or mediumship or whatever it might be, it's not an exact science. So I need for you to really trust in your own intuition and do what feels right for you and to take home what feels right for you. Yeah,
Mm. And I love exactly everything you said because, quite often when you do go to someone like you or me, it might not make sense at the time because it's
true.
still unraveling. And then,
Yeah,
I just had a
cool.
client
Yeah,
the other day, 3 years on, and she's re-listening to my recording, and she's like, I get it now. This really resonates. And I was like,
yes.
it's sometimes
Yeah,
our
good
soul
point.
isn't ready to hear.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, good point. The soul's not ready to hear it. And it doesn't matter how much work you've done on yourself. Like, I think to know something, but to truly know it's different, right?
Mm,
You can learn it, you can learn it,
mm,
but do you really know it in your bones, in your
yeah.
heart, in your soul, right?
And I
You're
agree with
quite right. Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree with everything you've said because I think that's the thing. There's this space of that we work in.
yes.
I think it's a privilege,
It's a privilege.
but I
Yeah.
don't, and I think it comes with responsibility.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think that a lot of people um, that come into the space don't hold that same value.
Yes. If a psychic's saying to you, things like, you need to come and see me. If you get some kind of random message over Instagram or Facebook Messenger where they say you have to come and see me because if you don't come and see me, there's this crazy curse on you or whatever. I need for you to know that, not only is it not real, it's not
Mm,
real. They're not working from a place of integrity or love or
yeah.
but I love what you said too, because I find it really fascinating that when you do an intuitive reading, and often it's a predictive, prophetic reading, um, I think, people assume that it's going to happen tomorrow, next week, or often had people say like, oh, well, no, or that doesn't make sense. And then 4 months down the track, you get a text message from them going, oh my goodness, you were so right now that this is happening. Oh, now I get that thing you were telling me about that thing. Um, yeah, it's a journey. And yeah, just because you can see forward doesn't mean it's going to happen instantly either,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
know?
Because we're all on
Yeah,
our own timelines and
that's
we all
it.
have divine free will.
That's it. We've all
Mm,
got life lessons. It's like,
yeah.
and you can't, like you can't manifest against someone's free will. So just because you want to get back together with your twin soul or an ex-lover or something, doesn't necessarily mean that you can make that happen. It's an interesting thing. Are we predicting it or are we manifesting it? Well, maybe it's all connected somehow, but
Mm.
yeah, it's an interesting thing. Went down the rabbit hole then. Sorry, hun. I did a,
Love it though.
I went rogue there for a
I
minute.
love it. I love it. I love it. But it's, I think the reality is a lot of people that do come to mediums or the oracle, or oracles or clairvoyance or in this realm are looking for answers. Quite often the answers are inside of them. They've just forgotten how to tap into them.
I love that. I truly
Mm,
believe everyone's intuitive.
yeah.
Like we're born intuitive. We're born with raw instinct. We're
Mm,
born with, refined intuition, that pure, innocent intuition, but I think there's a sort of a forgetting that happens, or it's like, you know, yeah. But fortunately, there's a remembering happening where people are really waking up to it, and you know, it's become quite fashionable in a way. But I don't think it's a fashion thing. I think it's a an awakening thing. I think,
Yes.
it's really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a remembering, and we're no longer asking for permission, we're just taking it. Um,
Yes.
yeah. What does it mean to speak from your embodied voice? And why is the body so essential in your channeling from that embodied voice?
I think an embodied voice is so important because it's an integrated voice. It's not a fractured voice. So I think embodiment is so important to be that clear channel, that clear conduit for spirit. Doesn't mean, I'm perfect or any of that stuff. It just means that I think when you walk your talk, when you understand what embodiment actually is, it's to personify, it's to be a representative, it's to actually um, become, but not becoming something you're not, becoming more of who you're truly becoming, if that makes sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
quite authentic actually. Um, yeah, so I think it's so important to utilize all of your psychic gifts. So you've got your third eye, your clairvoyance, you've got your throat chakra, your channeling voice, your soul's voice, you've got, heart wisdom, intuition through feeling. But all of that happens through the conduit of the body, through
Yes.
our different beautiful intuitive portals. So um, I also think it's important to be really super aware and awake of, how you're actually presenting yourself to the world, how you're actually showing up to the world as well. As Lily said, there's a responsibility in that. I think that's so important. But embodiment isn't something that you just do on a Sunday because you've decided to go to a spiritual church somewhere. It's more about a walking the talk. You're the living, breathing oracle. You're the living, breathing intuitive. So, yeah, it's very authentic as well. I think it's authenticity. And I know that's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but yeah, it's that integration, that culmination of all of it, really. We're multifaceted beings, so we're going to channel in a multifaceted way that makes sense to me. And what makes sense to me doesn't necessarily make sense to everyone else, too, because we've all got different ways of connecting, too. So,
Yes.
yay.
Yeah.
Love that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that answer. And I think that's it. Channel, when you become that oracle, that channel, our magic's layered. So,
Yes.
you've just said like the throat chakra, our heart sovereignty, our heart wisdom, we are layered because our magic is
Yes.
layered. So the actual
Yes.
wisdom that's coming through us is layered, and we go deeper in that layering.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. And the
Oh, I love
priestess really
that.
understands that. That's not outside of us.
Mm.
It's not outside of us. As within, so without.
Mm-hmm.
It's emerging. It's a blending. It's a bringing together, our own beautiful layers, as you said. Yeah, love it.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's sacred.
yeah.
Okay. How do you discern? Now, I think this is a really valid question for our listeners. How do you discern the difference between intuition, imagination, and a true transmission?
Oh,
Woo! It's like,
woo.
whoa. I'm glad I'm asking you and you're not asking me.
It's a really good question. I think, for one, I'm just going to start with the foundation. I think it's important that you're not channeling from limiting beliefs, from programming and conditioning, from your past hurts, or from, I think it's so important to understand psychic discernment, right? So I'm just going to
Mm,
start from that. Um, when you're channeling from fear, or you're channeling from um, distrust, if you like, I think it won't feel calm. It won't feel resonant. It won't feel, and we're not talking good or bad, because when you channel, it's neutral. You
Yeah.
get um, insights that are day and night, winter, summer. They're not all light and sparkly, right? So, um, but I think when you're channeling, um, I think, and you're getting a pure transmission, I think for me too, it's going directly to source. It's going directly to whatever you want to call it, the divine mind, the universal heart, the collective consciousness, the void, the absolute, it's got so many names, God,
Yeah.
the divine, the creator, whatever word you want to use, right? When you're channeling from divine source, um, and your intention is to channel from divine source, you will get divine, pure answers, right? So you're channeling from there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I love my spirit guides, I love my goddesses, I love my elementals, I love my, my beautiful fairies. I love, you name it, I love it, right? But if I want a clear answer, I will go directly to source. I will bypass even my beautiful ancestral guides. I'll bypass them and go, I might wave on the way through. Hi, guys. You can be helpful and supportive, but I'm going to go straight to source and get that answer for you.
Mm.
And whenever I do that, the answers are actually quite profound.
Yeah.
Um, if it if how do you know? You know it in your body. Okay, so in your body you will lean into it. It will feel good. It will feel often random. you know it'll feel calm. It won't throw you back where you're thinking, oh, if you start doing that stuff where you go, I'm making this up, how could I possibly know that? You're in ego, you're in fear,
Mm.
right? You have to lean into your heart. You have to
Mm.
lean forward. Um, yeah, and really trust.
Yeah.
Trust is
And it's
important, actually.
and I totally agree with everything that you've said, and it will feel grounded. It will feel
Grounded.
so grounded that
Yes.
that it's like,
A good one,
oh,
Lily. Yeah.
oh, where did this, like, this is, and some, I mean, I'm like you. Sometimes when I get something, I'm like, whoa, that's really profound. Like, where did that
Yeah.
come from? And
Exactly.
sometimes you're not meant to know where it comes from, but it's just that
That's right.
lightning bolt of grounded feeling in your body that you just know.
Great
It's
and
like you
great.
just know, you know.
That's so complimentary. Yeah, it's a
Mm,
grounded energy. What a great way to describe it. Yeah,
mm,
it's not like um, yeah, it's not like that like kind of energy that's kind of just, I don't know. It's a grounded energy. Beautiful. Love
mm.
that. Yeah.
Oh, I love everything you said. As you were saying it, my whole body was lighting up. It's like, oh yes, that's all on point. What role does the language play in making transmissions clear, grounded, and empowering rather than vague and mystical?
I love that. You know, I'm a poet, I'm a writer, so of course I love the mystical.
Mm, yeah, I
Okay.
love
But
mystical
you
too.
do have to make it relatable. You
Yeah.
do have to make it pragmatic, practical. It does need to be helpful and
Mm-hmm.
useful, especially if you're channeling for someone else, right?
Yes.
And also when you're channeling for yourself as well. I think it's important to remember that we're having a human experience, and that human experience does need guidance, it does need support. If I do a reading for someone, I often start with, what's brought you here today, without giving away too much detail. I don't want the detail, but without the detail, can you please give me, let's start with an intention of focus, because it's going to make your reading more deliberate. It's going to make it more potent. It's going to make it more relevant and more significant to you. So I think having an intention up front
Mm-hmm.
is helpful. Um, I had someone come and see me and they said they went for a beautiful reading that was really lovely, but totally useless because she spent the whole 55 minutes talking about Archangel Michael. And don't get me wrong, I adore Archangel Michael, right? Um, but I think it needs to be relevant, significant, and meaningful to the seeker, to the person that is the person or the group of people that have come to you for, um, for wisdom, for to be inspired, to
Mm.
be healed, if you like, whatever word you want to use. I think it's so important that it starts with pure intention, but also remembering that it needs to be relevant and practical and supportive to where that person is at or where that
Mm.
particular group are at in that moment. Otherwise, it's just a really pleasant, lovely time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes that's what's needed. But I do think it needs to be significant to what's going on for people too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But in saying that, I love a good meditation. I love a good sound bath. Um, and a lot of that is channeling pure streams of consciousness as well. But I'm talking about, making it relevant and helpful, actually.
Mm.
Um, and quite supportive as well. Not telling people what they want to hear necessarily, but it's in the delivery. So if you're delivering it in a really sensitive um, way, a kind way, a helpful way, I think it's a really beautiful way to receive a message. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything you've said. I think we've I know that when I do readings, I want it to be able to help this person shift further on their journey, further on
That's
their
it.
soul journey.
That's
That's,
it.
even so they might not have set that intention. I've set that intention. I don't want people just to show up,
Love
pay
it.
me money and go, oh yeah, that was a nice
Yeah.
experience. I actually want it to activate them for change or
Yes.
movement or
Yes. And you're
further on
so
their
good at the
soul path or
activation.
healing or growth or whatever it is. For me,
Yes.
it's like that's what I feel where, and some people say, oh, you rattled my cage because of you make them start thinking about things that they hadn't thought about
That's
that they'd
right.
forgotten.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that I actually wanted to go and do a triathlon, or I forgot that I actually
Yes.
da 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 da. Because
Yes.
yeah, I just think our role, this is probably me as an ex-counselor. I remember when I studied counseling, it was like your words matter. Your words matter.
Exactly, they
And
do.
there's a responsibility because I was working with such high vulnerable people.
Yes,
There's a
there
responsibility
is.
to show up and actually be responsible with what you say. And I think that for me and also for you, I know
Yes,
that really sits in our framework of why we want to
yes,
create a sacred space.
exactly.
What is the intention? We want the person to feel loved and held and leave
Yes,
walking feeling lighter or healed or
yes,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, some of it's subliminal, of course, but a lot of it's kind of quite pragmatic as well. Um, I love that. I love that integrity around realizing that they're vulnerable, they're in a sensitive place. It's so important that they feel supported. Love that. Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting because I'm curious to know what you do. So have you had a moment when you're receiving a transmission
Yeah,
or you're channeling
yeah,
and you have received it and you need to refine it before it needs to be shared, either collectively in a
yeah,
group
cool.
space or individually? How do you honor that process without taking away the potency?
I love that. I don't think it's censorship. Like sometimes it's tempting to censor,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But it is in the delivery.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, hypothetically, if I sensed someone was perhaps, they had a weak heart, perhaps they, are prone to a heart attack, perhaps they were going to have a heart attack. The last thing I do is tell them, you're going to have a heart attack. Now, what I might say to them is, will you promise me when you leave here today that you will book in to have a full checkup, including your heart,
Mm.
right? Okay. Um, don't panic, but I need for you to promise me that when you leave here today, that you're going to have a full checkup, and I want them to focus on your heart, right? And so there's a way to deliver the message. I think it's in the delivery. Um, I think it's really important too. We talk about responsibility. I think you need to give accurate information, but in a really diplomatic, sensitive way. It's probably the best way to explain it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. And
yeah,
it's like I always say to many of my clients, spirit only tells us what they're actually capable of hearing too.
exactly. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's so interesting because I've been reading for some people for many years, and there can be a repetitive theme or a repetitive pattern over the years. And of course, that transformer in me, that alchemist in me is like, oh, we need to heal this pattern. We need to shift this pattern. But it's a divine timing thing. So
Mm-hmm.
they often um, get it when they're ready to hear it. So I love the way you
Yes.
explained that. There has to be that receptiveness as well. Um, yeah, yeah. I think that's really important to understand that it's not an exact science. Even if you've got a good strike rate, it's not an exact science. It's guidance. But also there's divine timing. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to understand that you're only going to receive the message when you're ready to hear it. Loved that, Lily. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's also I mean, I've got repeat clients over the years, and they'll say to me, "Oh, Lily, you said that to me last time." And I say to them, "Oh, did I?
Yes.
I can't remember saying that." And then I have to say to them, "Well, what hasn't shifted? What hasn't taken? Where haven't you taken ownership or
Yes.
divine action?" Or I can say these things and feel them and see them, but what you do and when you leave my house or leave the Zoom
Yeah.
call is what you have to be responsible for. I can't do your healing. I can't do your manifesting. I can,
I can't do it for you.
yeah, that's your
Even if
work.
they see the pattern, often they do. They go, oh, look, why do I keep ending up in a relationship with someone that's really unavailable to me, or they're not prepared to do the work to heal their wounds, and it's, one might wear an Armani suit and one might wear a fluoro singlet, but they're the same person, right?
Yes.
Um, so what they're doing is they're looking outside of themselves for validation when really, as within, so without, they need to go within. And it's annoying to hear, I know, but you do have to have radical self-responsibility, personal responsibility to also make the shift as well.
Mm-hmm.
But in saying that, there needs to be kindness in around that because it is a timing thing too.
It is a
So
timing thing.
it's a timing thing. Yeah, yeah,
I love that because so many people, so many of the listeners, they'll be having aha moments right now going,
yeah,
okay, aha. Yeah. Doesn't
yes,
mean it's not coming in your timeline. It just means there's something that you need to
yes,
intuit and inside yourself
exactly.
shift or look
Yeah.
at or reveal
I
or
I ask
feel.
questions too. Like I often say things like, like not questions as in like, seeking information. I ask questions like, does that person remind you of anyone?
Mm,
Right? Or, and they go, oh, well, yeah, you know, my ex-partner or my dad or my da da da. And I'm going, well, there's a pattern here.
yeah.
There's a
There's something
pattern. Can
not
you see the
healed
pattern?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's you and I as the alchemist, you know, just planting the seeds of shifts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only because we want to see them on their higher, happier pathway, by the way. We want them to tap
Mm,
into their joy, not into their pain, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I yeah, on point, on point. I know that the listeners will be going, aha. Um, how has your intuitive voice redefined and matured over time? And what practices have you supported this evolution?
Wow, really good question. I'm a spiritual academic, so over the years I've done many modalities, many courses. I've had many incredibly amazing mentors and teachers. I think, you never stop learning, you never stop growing. It's an ever evolving journey. Um, doesn't mean I'm perfect, doesn't mean I have all the answers. I'm a work in progress too. But I do feel like I have a more mature, a more grounded, a more, how do I put it? Like just, wisdom of age, life experience, but also the intentional and deliberate learning that I've done over the years as well. I feel like I'm like still perfecting my craft, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not talking perfection, I'm talking just continually learning and growing. When you sit in sacred circle, you're often learning off each other as well. So
Yeah.
when you run beautiful workshops and retreats, as I know you do too, Lily, beautiful, beautiful kind of soulful offerings as well. When you sit in circle with mainly women, sometimes men, I think there's a sharing of wisdom and we are each other's mirrors as well. So it's not just doing another course or another modality. Quite often it's just listening, like active listening, not doing all the talking, but actually listening and allowing others to have space to share as well. I think it's a reciprocal energy exchange of wisdom. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty proud because I think I've done a fair bit of work. So yeah, I'm less triggered these days. Um, in fact, I very rarely get triggered. I do occasionally, but even the trigger's an opportunity to learn and grow. Um, there's less reaction and there's more observation and there's more breath and there's more proactive answering. I think language is so important, how you express yourself. Um, Words have power.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, doesn't mean, I have the odd day where I get cranky with someone or something, life, I'm only human. But yeah, I think I've matured actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I love that you said words have power and everything. And, when I think every time we speak internally or externally, we're casting a spell. So be really discerning on what you're saying.
Without a doubt.
Mm.
Without a doubt. Songs are spells,
Mm-hmm.
conversations are spells, words have power.
Music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
use it carefully. And that
Mm.
also means, just to manifest miracles and magic into your life too. Be careful of your negative self-talk, your negative
Mm-hmm.
mantras, all that stuff as well. I think it's so important to um, it starts with self. It always starts with self. Um, I think that's important. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, for the beautiful listeners, what guidance would you offer to someone who feels called to channel or to step into the oracle, but fears of being wronged or judged?
Really good question. Um, I think if you focus on service,
Mm,
um, of actually focusing on who you're helping, or you're focusing on being of service, you're not sitting in ego, you're not sitting in fear. I think that's important to have that right intention. Um, but I also think it's important to get support, um, a supportive circle, a mentor, a coach, a teacher, um, sometimes more than one as well. Um, I think it's really important to understand that you do need to reframe some of the fearful, negative, limiting beliefs that perhaps you've been carrying for many years too. So seek out a practitioner that can help you reframe the negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs, the programming and conditioning from community, from family, and sometimes the people that love you the most
Mm-hmm.
can hurt you the most too, by the way. So, yeah, I think it's important to do your own inner work so that you're leading from a space of love, not from a space of fear. I think you've got to start somewhere too. So, you know, I often hear students say things like, "Oh, I've just got to do another course," or "I've just got to do another thing," or I'm not ready yet." And I'm going, "Well, no, you are ready. You were born ready. You were born intuitive. You've just got to remember that." But yeah, I think you need to do it actually. If not now, when? Of course you're going to have fearful thoughts. We all have those. But when you're aware and mindful of reframing the negative self-beliefs and things, I think that's important too. So yeah, I think do it anyway. Like, if not now, when? Like, what are you
Yeah.
waiting for? Right?
That's a
Um,
post-it, baby. That's a post-it. If not now, when?
that's it.
And that's a call to action, ladies. That is a call to action. There'll never be no perfect time. If not now, when?
Exactly. Like, we're a work in progress. It doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
how much work you've done on yourself. It's not like you suddenly arrive and you're some kind of ascended master. Like, we're all equal on this journey and we're all doing the best we can, sometimes in difficult situations. So,
Yeah.
if you're waiting for the perfect time, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I move. I'll be happy when I retire. I'll be happy when I'm in a relationship. I'll be happy. You're just wishing your life away, actually.
Yeah.
Like, do it now. No.
I love that. I think that is so potent and such a beautiful reminder for so many people.
Yeah. And it's true joy. It's true joy as well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're awake and aware and conscious and you're living in your own joy, I think, well, to me, that's intuitive. So why wouldn't you want to live that way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, how can our listeners begin trusting their intuitive voice while staying anchored in discernment and responsibility?
I think, I'm going to make it quite practical here. I think you really need to listen to your spidey sense,
Mm-hmm.
your gut. You need to listen to those, higher streams of consciousness that float into your mind. Um, I think, yeah, it's about awareness is just awareness unless you start actioning it, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important to be aware, but then, like, how am I going to make that real? How am I going to ground that? How am I going to make that practical in a way? I think it's so important to listen to the physical validations that you get. Um, yeah, I think it really is as simple as that. Start trusting in your own intuition. Sounds quite vague, but really what you're trusting in is your own spidey sense, your own gut feelings, your knowings, your deep knowings, those kind of psychic feelings. I think, yeah, it's about listening and trusting, or put another way, have the awareness and action it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, beautiful souls. As we begin to close this sacred space together, I invite you to bring one hand to your heart and the other hand to your solar plexus. And just take a deep breath in. Suzy, before we end this call, is there a final frequency reflection, or blessing you feel called to offer our listeners, something that will support their integration rather than their seeking?
I think I am statements are really powerful. So I am love.
Mm, I am love. May what has been shared settle gently within you. May it awaken clarity, not dependency, and may your own voice, intuitive, embodied, and true, be honored in the days ahead. Thank you for listening to Suzy share her story. Thank you for joining us. And until we meet again, so shall it be.
So may it be. Thank you so much, my love. Loved it.